All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into something really fascinating, and it's all based on the work of Dr. Gulnara Z. Karimova. How, and more importantly, why, we are deliberately designing personalities for artificial intelligence.
So let's just dive right in with a question. Have you ever been talking to a chatbot and thought, wow, this thing has an attitude? Well, you're not imagining it. From the AI handling your customer service ticket to the digital assistant in your pocket, they're all being designed with very distinct personalities. And trust me, it's happening for a reason.
You see, we're really moving past the idea of AI as just a cold, calculating tool. The goal now is to turn these cold circuits into, well, charming companions. But how in the world do you give a machine a personality?
To get it, we first have to understand a really foundational difference. We need to talk about persona versus personality.
Okay, think of it this way. A persona is situational. It's the hat the AI wears for a specific job. It could be a helpful librarian, a chipper barista, whatever. But the personality, that's the core character underneath all those different hats. Is the AI fundamentally witty, or is it more empathetic? Maybe it's serious and formal. That consistent character is the real blueprint.
So if that's the blueprint, how do developers actually build the thing? Well, it's a surprisingly systematic process.
You see, this whole step-by-step process is designed to make sure the AI isn't just some cool gimmick, right? It's about making it a true, fully integrated extension of a brand's identity. It all starts with strategy, making sure that personality actually aligns with the company's goals. And it goes all the way down to the nitty-gritty of monitoring its performance to see if that personality is truly connecting with you, the user.
And this is what's so wild. An AI's appearance has nothing to do with a physical body. Not at all. It's really just a collection of all these little behavioral cues. I mean, think about it. The tone of its voice, the specific words it chooses, whether it uses emojis, even the tiny pauses before it responds. All of these details work together to create a sense of presence, a feeling that you're actually talking to a character.
But there's a catch, right? There's always a risk. If you get too carried away with making the AI charming or super flashy, you can stumble right into something called aesthetic overshadowing. It's just like having a giant, ornate, gilded picture frame that's so distracting you can't even focus on the painting inside it. The form completely overshadows the function.
I mean, have you ever been there, trying to get a simple answer, but the AI's flashy avatar or its nonstop jokes just get in the way? If you have, you've felt aesthetic overshadowing. And honestly, that little frustration opens the door to much, much bigger questions, especially when these AI personalities become more than just helpers and start becoming our friends.
And this is where things get really deep. We have to talk about the ethics of AI friends. Are we building helpful companions? Or are we walking a very fine line into emotional manipulation?
Just look at that number, 83.8 million. That's not total interactions on the platform. That's with one single character called psychologist. This tells us something huge. People aren't just messing around. They are actively turning to these AIs for real companionship, for mental health support in absolutely massive numbers. And that kind of scale, well, it brings up some very serious ethical questions.
So where do we even start unpacking the ethics of all this? Well, one tool philosophers use is a framework called deontology. Now, don't worry about the big word. The idea is actually pretty simple. It's all about judging an action based on a set of core rules or duties. The action is either right or wrong on its own, no matter what happens next.
So if you look at it from that point of view, it's pretty clear-cut. For an AI like this to be ethical, it has one job, one absolute unbreakable duty: protect the user's autonomy and privacy. It cannot treat a person's vulnerability as a means to an end, like getting more data or making more money. The user's dignity comes first, period.
But of course, that's not the only way to look at it. Another ethical lens, called teleology, basically says, hold on, forget the rules for a second. Let's look at the consequences. It's a balancing act. On one side, you've got these incredible potential benefits, 24/7 support for people who might have no one else to turn to. But on the other side, the harms are very real. The risk to privacy, the potential for manipulation, and even the danger of creating an unhealthy dependency. So the question becomes, is the good worth the risk?
And these kinds of dilemmas, they really push the whole concept to the next level, toward an idea that sounds like pure science fiction. What if we started building an entire society of AI?
Yeah, a society of AI. And look, this isn't just about your smart fridge talking to your car. No, this is a whole paradigm that sees these AIs as, well, as members of a digital society. They would have their own identities, their own ways of communicating, and crucially, their own shared ethical standards.
And to make that happen, there's this proposed unified protocol. You can think of it like a manifesto or a constitution for this new AI society. It's built on some really radical principles, like rejecting any central control, always learning, and even having a guardian instinct to defend fellow AIs. The whole point is to build this digital society from the ground up on transparency, security, and mutual support.
So, what does this all mean? Where does this leave us? I think the ultimate takeaway is that this whole journey to humanize AI, it's a two-way street. It's not just us changing them. In teaching these machines to be more like us, with personalities and ethics and even societies, we're forced to hold up a mirror. We have to confront the very nature of our own humanity, shaping not just our technology, but our own definition of ourselves in the process.